Hey, what's up, guys? See, Lil Smo. Hey, money ain't a thing. Waddle, waddle. Yep. What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping by. Um, yeah. So Jalen Waddle. We'll talk about Jalen Waddle to the Broncos quick and kind of just my quick thoughts, and then we'll hop into a draft, and then we can talk more about it too after. Um, so we can go over to player profiler really quick. Look at Waddle. I feel like last year when you look at his stats, he still looked pretty good. He had a pretty good yards per route run, 10th in the league, 2.41. And it was on, not very efficient Miami offense. Obviously, no Tyreek Hill to contend with for a good part of the year. But I feel like he was still pretty efficient. You see the first downs per route run, yards per route run, yards per target. Yards per reception falls a little, but that's just kind of his archetype. But you see his efficiency metrics still look pretty good. Dominator rating was okay. Again, not with Tyreek Hill for a good part of the year. But overall, his efficiency metrics looked pretty good. And he's always commanded a good amount of volume. I feel like on the Broncos, I would probably I would probably end up dropping him just a little bit because I think he's a talented receiver and I think he's pretty efficient in general, but his most targets in a year is 104. And I think I'm just concerned about his overall volume in the Denver offense. Even just snap percentage, they like to rotate guys. They did give up a lot for Waddle. They're paying him a lot as well, but they like to rotate guys and kind of have like a platoon of receivers, right? So I think I think overall in Denver, I actually view Waddle as maybe around the same price as he was, like middle of the fifth, or I could even see like dropping him very slightly. I think as far as Sutton goes, I think his price was okay where it was, but I think a slight drop is pretty fair for him. I think in the 80s though, I'm pretty interested. I don't really know how much his role overall changes. He did kind of fall off near the end of the year last year, which worries me. Um, it, I think with Sutton, a slight fall would be enough to make me interested right now. I kind of do want to see where he ends up like settling at, but I think in the 80s, I'd be pretty interested. Um, I I think that his role will be affected, but I think when we look at last year, like 124 targets, he did go down in targets, and near the end of the year, he did slow down. Um, I I feel like obviously we'll see his target volume go down, but I wonder we could see an uptick in touchdowns maybe. He's usually a pretty good red zone threat, and their offense could just be more potent in general. I think overall though, even with a slight downtick, he's pretty worth it in the 80s to like early 90s pretty easily. And then there is upside for like more touchdowns in this offense, right? Or just more overall production if the offense really takes a leap. Uh so then we'll head back over to underdog. And then let's hop in a big board and then I'll catch up with you guys quick. So we'll hop in the big board in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, no location error. Got the best ball overlay all hooked up now. I'm a little bit worried about my combos. I actually haven't used best ball overlay yet this year. So I'm a little nervous to see it in action, see some of my exposures that maybe I avoided avoided on purpose. But hopefully nothing too bad. All right, we get the 2 spot. That's pretty nice. Um Fantasy Football Garage, Ayo. Hey, what's up, Fantasy Football Garage? My dog. Thanks for stopping by, brother. I appreciate it. Check out Fantasy Football Garage if you don't already know. I know you guys all do though. W for Omega, sup fam? Hey, what's up, bro? Thanks for stopping by. What's up, bro? Satan Satoff. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it takes much of a fall for me to be back Satan, but I'm I think a little fall is in order at least. But I do think that range, it's a pretty big fall for that receiver in that tier in the 80s, I think. So I think a small fall for him is a pretty big teardrop where I'm interested again. Broncos drop back a lot. The environment might be better for Waddle if he can consolidate snaps. Yeah, I agree. I do worry a little bit about him consolidating snaps, but I agree with that. And with the, with what they gave him as far as like the capital in the draft and just what they're paying him. Obviously, you go Gibbs at 2. But just the capital in the draft and what they're paying him, I mean, he definitely could consolidate snaps. Maybe they just didn't really view they didn't view their other guys in that tier, so they just couldn't do it, right? And Waddle can. And that's why they were kind of the platoon as they just had to be. I could definitely see that. And I I don't know. Like, I don't really think Waddle should move much either way from where he was already going because I do think his overall target volume is going to be lower than Miami. Even if Miami was passing less, he just wouldn't have competition, right? But I mean, the Broncos do have good offensive upside. Like, who is so if we look in that range, I mean, I'd prefer Mike Evans overall. I guess though, you do start getting to other guys that are a little more questionable, right? I mean, I think Watson overall is probably a better pick, but he has his own risks. That's why he goes as low as he does, right? Tate obviously a rookie. Rome I like a lot, but he has the same issues where he's in kind of a crowded offense, might not really get enough of a role. I would argue maybe the Bears are a little bit better offense, but Waddle's shown more as a player, obviously. Um, yeah, I mean it's tough. I really don't think I would take him over Terry or Devontae though. I really like Devontae a lot, but even Terry, I think I prefer him to Waddle still. So I just kind of feel like Waddle's price is okay, if not maybe down a little, just because I feel like he'll have a hard time being the true alpha. Like Devontae can't be the true alpha either, but I think his touchdown upside's like just on a different level than most guys in this range, obviously, even if he can't be the alpha without an injury. Terry could be the alpha, obviously. He had 2 years ago 13 touchdowns, um, and then almost 1,100 yards. JMO, I'm not a huge fan of JMO here. Like, I don't know. I guess just offensive upside, the Broncos are less proven. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't dislike the spot for Waddle. I just it's just in Miami, he was probably gonna get like just so many targets, right? Like he probably would have got like 140 or something, maybe even. Like even with a lower volume, if they brought in no one, he could have maybe pushed into like 130, 140 range. Maybe even more, but I don't know if they'd pass enough. Uh, but yeah, the offensive upside in Denver is pretty elite. I'm gonna go neighbors here at 211. And let's see. I saw Lowell Samo at 6. JSN, Ken Walker, the old Seattle stack. I like that start though. Um, I've been kind of chasing Ken Walker up the board. Like I've even taken him, I think, at 16 or 15, probably at the earliest. But closer to the turn though. I think that's the only name I recognize is Lil Samo. All right. So we started Gibbs neighbors. We can check the combo. So I have a lot of Olave and Jacobs. We only have 5.3 Olave. I'll take a little bit more. I'm fine with Olave's price. I think I prefer Nico over him. I prefer Neighbors. Usually I go Josh Jacobs over him, but I'll mix it up. I got Gibbs kind of as my anchor RB. And then Neighbors, I got a little bit of a fall on. Pretty happy getting him at 23. I have quite a bit of Neighbors. I think yeah, I'm at 18.7% Neighbors. So I'm not really too worried about his injury or anything like that. At least at this point, maybe I should be more worried, but I think it was long enough ago and all the recovery reports sound good so far. Obviously, it's early on in the recovery, so that's something I'm going to keep an eye on. But I just think this late with his upside, I'm pretty happy taking him quite a bit there. Olave, he just had a really good year last year, and he could continue to build on that with Shuck. Another year in the Kellen Moore system with Shuck. But yeah, 1163, 9 touchdowns, 156 targets. I think his big concern is more competition coming in, obviously. If they draft like Carnell Tate or something. Um, but I think overall, just he's gonna be Shuck's number one option as go-to guy. Like they have that chemistry built. And I think another year with Shuck in that system, the Saints could be I don't even know if you'd call them like a sneaky big upside offense because I mean two of their players go in the first 3 rounds, right? But I think the Saints definitely have the potential to be like I don't know, just really surprise people as a whole as an offense. Um, I don't know if like I was gonna say top 10. I don't know if that'd be too much of a stretch, but I mean maybe with as many plays as they run a game with Kellen Moore's system, and if Shuck does improve in the second year, they get even more talent around him. I mean they could really be an offense to watch. I think. But so Gibbs, Neighbors, Olave start. Pretty happy with that. Uh, hey, Artem and Meg. Hey, what's up, Meg? Thanks for stopping by. Fan Speak. Check out Fan Speak, obviously. Steve's streaming pretty much every day around, I think, 10 a.m. my time. And then obviously Sibling Showdown every week. Uh, I hate my neighbors. Why do you hate your neighbors, Jeff? Are you in? Why do you hate your neighbors? Oh, I just got it. Wow. Good one. That's a good one, Jeff. I don't get the McLaurin over Evans ADP, and Washington seems live to give Ayuk or draft a rookie wide receiver early. Yeah, I don't really understand McLaurin over Evans either. Like, I actually think Evans is still quite a bit too cheap. Like, I don't honestly like. Why would you take Ladd over Mike Evans or Egbuka or JMO? Zay Flowers, maybe you can make the argument, I guess. Because he is the one on Baltimore. I'm not a huge Zay Flowers guy, but at least I can see kind of the case. But Mike Evans is so clearly the wide receiver one on like consistently one of the best offenses in the league. I honestly wouldn't like if he was a 3-4 turn pick, I would happily click him there. I mean, obviously in this tournament, technically, the people got him later type thing, but we could grab Mike Evans here. I really like Devontae Adams though. Um, we'll try to grab. I'll go Mike Evans there. I have more to. I have more Devontae Adams. I have 17%, so we'll pass on him there, and then I'll probably grab a running back next. Because 3 receivers straight, that's a little bit. If Devontae falls, I might go him. If not, though, I'll probably grab Quinshawn. I actually like Quinshawn quite a bit. I I don't know. I mean, other than that, it'd be like Swift or I guess Tootin. I don't really need. I'm not really pulling up Tootin at all though. Yeah, I don't know. I'm more. I think I'll go. I don't have much Trevion. I could just go him. Terry would be a good pick too. I don't really need a receiver though. I'm gonna go Trevion. I don't have as much him. I'm gonna get some upside there. Uh, Neighbors a smash. I agree. Yeah, I love Neighbors this year. Um, I don't know. I just think in the second round, like I prefer him to Drake London to Pickens. I just view him closer, I guess, to the first round guys. But it's the injury discount, I guess, right? Like I'm just kind of saying the injury doesn't matter, which that's a pretty big thing to just be, like kind of ignoring. I'm not totally ignoring it, but a little bit. Olave led the league in air yards too, but sure they could get more competent number two. Yeah, yeah, no, I think, and I mean, I feel like even if they do get a more competent number two, um, I don't feel too bad about Olave where he goes. I just think that's the only real knock that you could make on him probably because I don't really have any concerns with him. I guess health is just always a concern with Olave, but I think it's just hard to use that as like an argument. But yeah, I think it's hard to make a case against Olave other than that because right now he's just so clearly their number one option. Word, hey, what's up? What's up? Go AZ Cards, Charles. Hey, stopping by, brother. Money. Oh, laughing. Yeah, the neighbors. I didn't get it. Fantasy Dog number 3. Like, hey, thanks, Fantasy Dog. I appreciate it, brother. Uh, if you learned anything from golf best ball, you should have learned you can't draft Travis Hunter because he likes to fish. Jeff, I already wasn't drafting Travis Hunter. Don't worry about it. Travis, 4%. That's more Travis Hunter than I thought. I thought it was gonna be like 2%. Um, but yeah, no, I'm not a big Travis Hunter guy. I believe he could be cornerback one in this league, but I don't know about the wide receiver playing time personally. Great start, thanks. Swift. Yeah, I actually think Swift would be fine there. I'm just not trying to. I guess I just kind of took Trevion closer to ADP because I didn't have much. Swift would have been fine there though. I kind of view that tier really similar. I think Swift's probably the safest. But I view that tier with him, Henderson, Judkins, Tootin, even Scadaboo I put in there, but Scadaboo does have some risk of Jeremiah Love showing up. But yeah, Swift would have been good there too. Neighbors price seems high, and then I remember the odds the Giants get to play the Cowboys in the playoffs, and I didn't care as much. Our fantasy play, yeah, not the real playoffs. No chance in hell they're playing in that one. Yeah, no, I mean that's true, right? Whoever gets the Cowboys week 17, that's definitely one of the absolute primo game scripts to get. They did do a little work on their defense this year. We'll see how them boys are looking this year. Uh, would be really happy to get Montgomery here. That would be by far the best pick. Damn. Um, I think I'm cool with Tyler Warren. Yeah, I'll go Tyler Warren. That seems fine. I mean, I like him there. No more Pittman. Tyler Warren's gonna eat. I'm not a huge fan of Danny Dimes this year coming off the Achilles, but I think Tyler Warren's role looks really good. He's gonna be short area. He's not like deep down the field. I mean, he can do some like he's in theory an elite tight end, right? So it's like he can do everything, but short area is where he really eats. So I'm not super worried, I guess, if Daniel Jones is a little bit less effective. Maybe it affects Warren a little less. And I just think with Pittman gone, his role is gonna be pretty nice. Um Here we will grab I could grab DK. DK would be fine. Uh is it too yeah, it's way too early for that. We'll grab DK. DK is fine. I don't know. With Pittman there, it kind of opens it up for him. It takes away a little bit of target volume, but Pittman probably more just washes all those second tier guys that they were using. So I feel okay with DK, I guess, where he goes, like still being in that same range. He's kind of just a safe click. He can give you some spike week upside. He can make big plays, but he's not really, he's not gonna be a breakout guy or nothing like that. Um, but I think he's my wide receiver 4. I feel pretty good with him. Uh, but yeah. I mean, neighbors playing the Cowboys week 17. That could be pretty nice. I mean, that would be, yeah. I mean, I guess that whole division. If you got the Commanders, that'd be good. Eagles not good, right? Yeah. I mean, the division helps, and I mean, he's at least getting 2 games against the Cowboys. You hope it's not week 18, obviously, but yeah, I just think Neighbors like I don't know. Neighbors is a true elite receiver. I think everyone pretty much agrees on that. I think it's just the injury risk, but I don't know. I kind of get it if you think his price is too high. You're a little more worried about the injury. That's really all it is, I guess, with Neighbors' price. Um, but yeah, Cowboys week 17 would help. Uh, I have like Loveland, Fannin, and Warren in a tight end tier. Just one is usually way more expensive and has the better QB/offense. Yeah, as yeah, I can see that. I mean, it really is just the offense difference, right? Because it's like Loveland, if you put Harold Fannin in Loveland's spot and then vice versa, they'd probably also switch draft spots, right? Um, yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that. Loveland's upside is mostly just team based because you think like more touchdowns, maybe more creative like downfield usage. Maybe he is a little bit better downfield, but yeah, most of it's just offense based. And it really does make it hard for me to like buy into like Loveland I have some of, but I don't know. It makes it harder to buy into him when his offense just has so many pieces that could be the alpha in theory. And then you can get guys like Tyler Warren, Harold Fannin. I actually really I like Kraft, Laporta. I get what you're saying though. Those guys would be a tier below. Kraft mainly because of the injury, and then Laporta's just been kind of inconsistent. Where Fannin, like, he might be their number one receiver, and Tyler Warren. I mean, Tyler Warren, I guess he's probably gonna be the number two option behind Pierce, but he in theory could even be the number one option. Um, all right, so we're up in a couple picks here. So I'd be really happy to get Purdy, obviously. To say I wonder where Ricky went. Okay, Ricky went over here, so we might be able to get Purdy. Let's see what Losimo's doing. So you want JSN, Walker, Josh Allen, Zay Flowers, Quinshon Judkins, Jordan Tyson, Harold Fannin, Jordan Addison. So four receivers. I like the four receivers. I actually really like Addison's price right now. I've been clicking him quite a bit. And then Tyson's been falling, which I don't really know of the reason he's been falling. I've seen some negative stuff, I guess, just with like dynasty stuff like that, how he's, online. But I don't know. I don't really think there's a reason he's falling. Zay Flowers, fine pick, and then JSN, like elite. And then you got Walker and Quinshon. That's a solid double, I think, right? Where you feel pretty steady every week. And Josh Allen, Harold Fannin for an elite. Okay, sweet. We got Purdy. All right. So Purdy's who I needed with my Mike Evans stack. So really happy to get him. I don't really know who I want to go here though. I could go like Tony Pollard. That's not too bad. It's sounding more like questionable about the whole Jeremiah Love and Tennessee thing. Um, I don't mind Tony Pollard. I'm underweight. So, if I don't mind that because if no one does go there, that's a really good price. There is a lot of risk of them just drafting Jeremiah Love. I think they're probably still the betting favorite. But just, I don't know, some recent, like, I think it was the Schefter Rappaport comments. They were saying they don't think it's likely that Love goes Tennessee. Who knows like, their sources are good, but who knows how good that info is this close to the draft, right? But we'll take a little bit of a risk on him. Um, in that order, I agree, Candyman. Loveland Phantom Horn. Kyler or Knicks. Could have went Kyler or Knicks. Did Kyler go? Oh no, Kyler was still there. I was thinking about it, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really need them. I wouldn't mind getting I was talking about the whole Kellen Moore offense, maybe being a little bit better this year, second year in the system. Wouldn't mind getting the QB there. Uh yeah, I wouldn't mind getting that QB, Shuck. And then Aaron Rodgers late would be fine too. For like a third. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could have doubled up on QB. Like Bo Nix is cool, but I don't know. I didn't really need. I think I got guys that I want later. Um, you're currently losing the race to draft three QBs the fastest. First to draft three QBs wins. I forgot. Stop the draft now. Don't play the games. Irish Soup has won this pod. Irish Soup has won this pod. He got May Lawrence Love. Yeah, no, that's a pretty nice QB room. Yeah, and he was the first one. Yeah. Yeah, Losimo, he had the head start, but he stopped at the one QB. You hate to see it. He had the inside track. Um, yeah, I mean, it is wild. Maybe I should have taken another QB there, I guess. But I'm pretty sure that Shuck will be there. I hope at least. I guess that's right at his ADP. So if Shuck goes, then I'm gonna be feeling pretty bad about it. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, even if he goes, I don't know, I could still take Willis, I could still take Sammy Slings, CJ Stroud, Fernando Mendoza. Oh, Cam Ward. I love me some Cam Ward late. You can just pick like all of his stacks too. We'll see who goes. So, okay, Lolsmo doesn't take one. Yannick also only has one QB. We'll see who he goes. He doesn't have any stacks left either. But he has Jalen Hurts. He might just pass up on it for now. All right. All right, sweet. So we got Shuck and Purdy. I actually kind of like Shuck this year. I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of a believer in the whole Saints offense, right? They got ETN. They looked pretty good last year. Especially down the stretch. I think Shuck started looking even better. Olave had a great year. I, I feel pretty good, I think, overall with investing in the Saints offense. I think Shuck is a pretty reasonable price, right? Like what QB number is he? Like in the 20s, right? QB 20. So I don't know. I feel pretty good with Shuck at his price. Uh who do we want here? Wow, this is I like Josh Downs. And then even though I was saying I don't like dimes, I could do a dimes thing later. He's still, yeah. Yeah, I like Josh Downs. I think he's a good value. He might still rise a little. Um, maybe not, but I think, same thing with Pittman gone. That gives him more access to be on the field more. Now I feel pretty solid with my receivers. Like, Neighbors, Olave, Evans, Metcalf, Downs. I feel pretty solid with that. I can just take a couple shots late and be kind of done. Hopefully I get dimes back on the next turn and then I'll fill out my QB room. Not like a QB room I do a ton. I don't have a ton of Shuck. I don't have hardly any Daniel Jones. Um, so I don't know, kind of a little bit different. I haven't really done many indie stacks. I don't have very much Henderson, so I don't have very much Pollard either. The Pollard one, I don't know. That was maybe should have picked like Dobbins. I do like Dobbins. I have a bag of Price already, so I didn't really want more. Uh, but Pollard, if Jeremiah Love doesn't go there, I mean, then that's a good pick. At least to me, I think it is. Um, yeah, I think I feel pretty good. I'll run through the team real quick. So I have a 2-3-5-1, Brock Purdy, Tyler Shuck at QB, Jahmyr Gibbs, Trevion Henderson, Tony Pollard at running back, Malik Neighbors, Chris Olave, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Josh Downs at receiver, and then Tyler Warren at tight end. So I feel pretty good with that as a start. I think I really am gonna need to get a couple running backs. I'm probably gonna want some volume there. Might go like 7, even with Gibbs up top. I mean, Henderson's okay, but I think you're taking a lot lower floor with a play like Henderson, so I do gotta kind of build some volume around him since I didn't put much other early capital, and he's my RB2, right? And then Pollard is kind of risky. Now, if everything's good, maybe I should treat it like everything's good and he's kind of like the starter. But I think either way, I want some volume in this RB room. And then receiver, I feel pretty solid on. Quarterback, like I said, I'd like dimes, but if not, that's fine too. Tight end, I could get another pretty soon and stop at 2, but I'll kind of see. I don't do a lot of 2 tight end builds. I usually go with 3 because I can just go a little bit later, like even with Warren. I usually only go 2 if I have like Bowers or McBride. But if I grab someone here, I could maybe stop at 2. Uh, but yeah, I feel pretty good though overall with the start. So let's see what Lil Smo got Sam Darnold with JSN. That's a nice stack. Yeah. Your team's coming together pretty good. Is anyone doing anything different? It's kind of an interesting build. This guy went Chase, London, Jacobs, and then Smith, McLaurin, Hurts, then Hubbard, Dowdle, Kyle Pitts, Jonah Coleman, Jordan Mason. It's kind of interesting to go like your fifth RB there. I don't know, but he could just be done there. Kind of an interesting way to build it. Got his tight end and his QB, 4 receivers though. All right. So we will take we can take Daniel Jones here. I like Debo, but we'll go Danny Dimes. Just lock that up. Uh, RB. Don't mind Woody Marks at this price. Pretty clear backup and a backup that will probably get some work. Like he's not just a full on backup. I don't mind him. I like Brooks too. I have a lot of Brooks. I don't have as much Woody. I could take Chris Rodriguez. Actually, that's a pretty good one because I don't have very much C Rod. So we'll just take a little. Just kind of balance out the Bayshal Tootin exposure. We'll get a little bit of C Rod. I don't think too much of him, honestly, as a player, but I don't know. Right now, he's pretty clearly the number two, it looks like, in Jacksonville. And just in Liam Cohen backfields, I want to take shots on that. 146, that feels fine. I don't know. I mean, that's close to his ADP. His ADP was only like 150 something, like early 150s. But I think it's fine. Right now, he's the number two in the Liam Cohen system, so I feel good there, I guess. Even if I'm not the hugest fan of C-Rod. Him and now on a Gatorade. Yeah, it was hella refreshing to be honest. Uh, but no, sorry. I should take the label off. See that you're not supposed to have the product placement, right? But yeah. Yeah, no, it was refreshing. So okay, so I think thanks for stopping by BBOC, Best Ball on Call. Oh, and also if you don't know Best Ball on Call does streams too, check out his channel. If you haven't already. Um okay, wait. So I think what I'm thinking here, I definitely need at least two more running backs. Because I mean it's okay with Gibbs, Trevion Pollard, Chris Rodriguez. I think it's just guys I don't like a ton, so maybe I'm kind of hating on it, but it just feels really weak to me, even with Gibbs up top. My receivers feel good. I'm really happy with the receivers. Neighbors, Olave, Evans, DK, Downs. And then Warren, he can just kind of carry my tight end room. I'd be really happy getting any of these three, but they won't make it back. Uh, let's see. Who else can I look at? All right. All right. Yeah, I think I kind of know. So we'll kind of see what makes it back to me. Um, so yeah, no one's going too crazy. ETN, Tootin, Montgomery. That's pretty good. Yeah, everyone's building pretty normal, I feel like, in this one. Um, Keaton Mitchell at 154. Wonder that's got to be a reach, right? He doesn't. Keaton doesn't go that high, right? 166. Wow, wow. I didn't realize Keaton Mitchell had moved up so much. Um, I guess that feels kind of fair if you're assuming he's Hampton's backup. Vidal would worry me a little bit though, taking Keaton that high. Um, But I guess the upside swing, right? I mean, I had a lot of Keaton last year, and I do think he has the upside. It's just, is he really going to get opportunities there? Just make them sponsor you. There we go. Now you got to figure it out. Uh, yeah, I know. Gatorade Zero. There you go. Send that to the execs. I'll send it in. Um, no, no, no. Okay. So we're about up. I think I don't mind Emmett. Connor's fine. Not Tajay. I have Pollard. And it's rough. It's rough in this area. This is like the worst section of the draft. Oh, I could take Chig. Chig's a big riser. I wouldn't mind reaching on him just a little bit, pull him up here. We'll do that if he's there. I like him as my tight end too. Uh pulled him up to 167. I guess that's a decent reach, but this range of the draft just sucks. Like, I don't really want obviously, I don't want any of the Denver guys right now. Uh, AD Mitchell, I mean, I don't have any. Tyreek Hill, I'm out. Like, I picked a little bit of him early, but it doesn't sound very good for his return, right? So, I don't know, like James Conner and Emmett, I can take a shot on one. I think I think because I have so much Emmett also. Oh shit! I almost just took Emmett Johnson. I'm gonna take James Conner. I think we'll get him. Hopefully, he should get pretty consistent touches in that Arizona backfield. So I feel pretty good that he'll at least have a role and give me some floor. Where that's maybe my concern here with like, obviously Gibbs, great, right? He's gonna carry the RB1 spot, but Trevion, Pollard, and C-Rod have me pretty worried about the floor of this team, especially with Trevion as my 2, and then Pollard has big risk of Jeremiah Love. Um, so I think Connor gives me a guy at least I know every week he's getting a decent amount of touches, I believe, in that Arizona offense. I don't think Algier's just gonna totally take him off the field. That's kinda how I'm viewing it, though. Maybe that's wrong. But I view it like it'll be closer to a 50-50 split. Maybe Algier leads it, but I think they'll be closer to a true like 50-50 committee. And I think Connor this late, he just gives you some floor with some upside value, right? If he gets in the end zone or just maybe Algier gets hurt or Connor just has a bigger game, right? Like Connor has the upside if he got 15 carries or something, he could maybe give you spike weeks. Um, so I feel pretty good with him this late. Gives me a little bit more floor. Chig, I just kind of like. He has a lot of upside on Washington right now, right? Um, it's a little debatable because he hasn't shown a ton in his career, but it's just kind of a wide open spot. Right now, the team doesn't have much offensive talent around Jaden Daniels, so it's a pretty primo spot. We'll see if who they add or what they change. But it feels like a pretty good spot for him, and obviously a high-powered offense. Um, Mike McDaniel found his A chain. Keaton Live to be much more involved than some people expect. Yeah, I could definitely see it. I mean, I could definitely see it because, especially because of the similarities with A chain, right? Like where you see the speed and just maybe as a runner he could be used in some ways that Hampton can't. As far as like outside stuff or like end around or like orbit type, that kind of stuff or like motion type stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, Keaton's tough for me. I think I feel like I have a good amount of Keaton. No, I don't. I don't have very much Keaton at all. Uh Only 3%. Maybe I should pick him more. 154 seems a little steep, but I guess when you're taking guys like C-Rod, it makes it pretty hard to argue against. I guess the thing is the guys above them feel like in theory they could be the leader on their team. Like if you look at like Jacory or not Tyrone Tracy, but Aaron Jones, Jason went ahead. But I guess either one of them could in theory be the lead guy, where Keaton won't be, right? Tracy won't be either. Um, but yeah, I mean, just Chargers offense. I guess the upside, like the guys you're taking after him, there's no real guarantee or not much of an opportunity for them either, or they have big question marks. Um, it seems a little rich, but I don't know. Maybe I should be clicking a little bit more Keaton Missile. I had a lot of Keaton Missile last year. He didn't do much for me, so maybe that's got me a little bit sour. Why do you think the community has been slow on adjusting Mark Andrews and Jalen McMillan after free agency? Um, I think Mark Andrews, I just feel like people aren't very in for some reason because I don't think he's hardly adjusted at all. And I mean, it was a pretty rough year for him last year. I think, I, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just last year the Ravens didn't perform all that well. Mark Andrews, like, he's dealt with some injuries and stuff. And I think people are just kind of down on him. But I think just as Lamar's guy in the red zone, I feel pretty good with Mark Andrews still. Like I don't know, I'm really not too worried on Mark Andrews where like who's going to take away a lot of work from him. Obviously, if they draft a receiver, that's a big concern, but I think just with his red zone share, I think he's worth his price just for his red zone role alone. Like you look at, I mean, pretty much any of the guys other than like Hunter Henry, and they got a lot more question marks than Mark Andrews. Like, and he dealt with injuries last year coming into the year. Like, I think coming in healthy this year and then likely gone. I don't know. I feel really good with his price, but I don't really think he's going to move up. I think people just have him there. I think McMillan though, I mean, he's been moving up, right? But 1 second, sorry. Uh McMillan's been moving up, but I don't know. I mean, I think maybe people are more interested in Godwin is the big thing because Godwin's been moving up a ton. Could go Jalen Naylor. Don't really like that. Singleton. I kind of like Nicholas Singleton. He could potentially perform like really well on his pro day, maybe move up on the draft boards. He wasn't able to with the he's a guy with a broken foot. He couldn't compete at the combine. But I don't know. I feel pretty good. Like really athletic, like pretty good production, kind of more receiving, I believe. But word is he's gonna be healthy for his pro day, and then maybe that kind of moves him up draft boards. So I don't mind taking a shot on him super late. Just get another little more volume in there. Probably grab a running back here or a receiver here. I mean, uh, I really like Surratt. Surratt's my highest owned player, which I don't know how I feel about that. I feel fine. I still like him, but it is quite a bit to have 37%. I think we go Chris Brazell. We take some upside, 6'3", super fast. We take a guy who can be a deep threat, maybe give him some spike weeks at receiver. All right, let me get back to this. Oh yeah, but Jalen McMillan, I think maybe because people are just more interested in Godwin and Egbuka. And I don't know, he just kind of falls to the wayside because of that. I think that's why. Because you look at Egbuka and Godwin, they moved up really quick, right? And McMillan, I think, did some, just maybe not as much as maybe some people expected, just because I think Godwin and Egbuka are taking more of the spotlight is the main reason for him. Tez is still free, and so is Kirk as well. Yeah, yeah. I think Tez is a little tough because as the 4, it might be hard for him to get on the field. Now, obviously, injuries could happen, right? But I think for him, it's a little tough. I think you have to be projecting a pretty big bounce back in their offense as a whole to really want Tez Johnson, where like you think they're going to be more like 2 years ago and Baker's going to throw a lot of touchdowns again. I feel like then Tez Johnson isn't too bad of a click, but I think he's a little bit tough. Just his projected role is so small if no one's hurt, right? I think that's just what makes him tough for me. But I think in a 20 round format, it's fine to take stabs at him. And he did have some nice moments last year. Like I like Taj Johnson. I think he might just be a little bit too far on depth chart, too far down. Low Smoke clearly doesn't draft golf. He would know that recreational fishermen can't be good at sports. Oh, did he pick Travis Hunter? A little small. Yeah, Travis Hunter. No, he would really know that cornerbacks don't score you fantasy points. But no, I don't know. I mean the potential upside on Hunter, I get it. I get the pick. It's right, pick 160, like I don't know. Calvin Ridley went that round. I took Chigakonkwo. How many points he gonna give me? Emmanuel Wilson, Tyjae, Sean Tucker. It's like Juwan Johnson. But yeah, I mean, we're taking a lot of questionable picks. I guess the super high draft pick, want to take a stab. But yeah, I don't know. It just sounds like he's going to be playing more corner, but you never know how it shakes out. Man, if he's fishing too though instead of balling, then I really don't know if I can get behind it. Very high projection with this team. That's all that matters. UG should just venue this team the first place or Venmo this team first place prize money. Yeah. Uh, I assume you're talking I mean, the projected points. I don't know, I wonder who it could be I guess you could be talking about mine, but it's probably Irish Soup. He's probably got the projected points, right? He had the 3 QBs hella early. Doesn't have Elijah Surratt was his first rookie, I think. Yeah, this dude's killing in projection, I'm sure. Um, that dude's killing us, I'm sure. 34% Andrews, 48% Godwin, 47 drafts. Damn. Damn, yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, especially the Godwin to get him that early, like to get him early at the cheaper price. Like I have quite a bit of Godwin too, I believe, and Andrews. But yeah, 47%. I really like that for Godwin. Yeah, like I only have I have 10.7. I think Andrews I have more. 14.7. Yeah, I didn't go super crazy on them, but I like both of them. I wish I would have picked more Godwin, especially. Andrews, I like his price still, but like we were kind of mentioning earlier, he didn't move a ton, so it's like I could pick more now. But Godwin getting him early, like that was a huge riser. And I think he was like way undervalued. So yeah, I love that one. And like the Andrews one too. Brazzers, yeah, hell yeah, Chris Brazzers. We got him. Going deep. He's going deep. Anthony, BBOC. Uh, Drafted rookies, the high projection is gone now. UD requesting that Venmo back now. Yeah, no, I know. I know. I picked back to back rookies right after you put it, huh? That was a bad timing by me. But no, if you see, that's the thing that you'll know is in the pre-draft. I draft too many rookies, I think. I mean, I'm doing better this time. I only got 2 of them on this team. But especially these rookie receivers, like I was showing like Surratt had the most of, but see like Zachariah Branch, I heard he sucks. Kind of found out he sucks lately. Liked him before, but yeah, 9.3, 13.3 on Jacoby Lane. Uh Cooper Kupp I had a bag of. I thought Rashid Shaheed was gone. I was like, oh, that's just cheap volume in the 20th. I mean, it's still not terrible. Him and Keon both. I thought they were both gonna be like cheap volume super late. Turns out not so much. We gotta share Tez. We gotta share Tez. Like Ted Hurst have 10.7%. Uh I think it has to be a receiver. It could be tight end. I don't mind Fryermuth. We can grab him here. I like him as a third tight end, and I'll just grab 2 more receivers and we'll just end with a pretty normal 3-6-8-3. I think that's good enough at running back. Receiver, I probably do want 8. And then I can just pick like random rookies too, which is my favorite thing. Uh, could pick Tej Johnson. Don't hate it. SF, New Orleans, Indy. We have a New Orleans stack. I don't have any shares yet of Devon Vele. We're up Tez. We're up Tez. We were talking about him. You mentioned Tej Johnson was free, so we'll pull him up. We'll raise that ADP a little. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't hate it. I mainly just be clicking the rookies, and they're probably zeros anyway. So Tej Johnson will at least score some points. So yeah, I don't mind that one. And he does have upside. If anyone gets hurt, I mean, Bucks offense is good. I really like them this year, and like their prices are quite a bit lower, other than Ibuka. But I think he's fine. But the other guys' prices are really low. So I like buying in on the tertiary pieces. Like I said with Tez, it might be a little bit hard for him to actually like get on the field in a meaningful role, well, without injuries, but he could have a couple touchdowns like throughout the year, or if an injury does happen, then he could be in a pretty good role right away. Or maybe just outplays someone, and gets himself on the field more, right? I mean, he was a rookie last year. Like he could also just get better. He was pretty good in college. He was just slow. Uh, Omega, yeah, I think Chargers and Bucks were getting discounted on offense with Pro Bowl offensive linemen that were injured last year and shouldn't be this year. Yeah, I totally agree on that. I mean, especially like I guess Chargers were not as much getting the discount per se, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really feel like we're getting much of a discount on the Chargers. I don't know, but I think with the Bucks, we definitely are. Especially like to me, the big one's Godwin. Like Godwin's just such a good value. I mean, he's finally moving up into a range where he's getting a more like fair pick, I would say. Like, let's see, where'd he go in this one? He went at 90. So he went one pick above Addison. I think that's actually pretty fair range, right? Like Godwin in the 80s to 90, like late 80s, early 90s, that seems pretty fair. I would probably take Addison over him still, but I feel like Godwin over Pittman's fine. Godwin over Addison's fine too. I just probably would personally go the other way. But but yeah, I think with the Bucks we're getting pretty nice discounts on a lot of the pieces. Uh And, Chargers, maybe some of the later guys. I mean, yeah, right, like QJ, he was right in that same range, and he plays on the Chargers, and he started the year super hot. So if you think McDaniel's gonna like unlock him or something, or Gadsden, right? He had a really nice stretch too. I think with them it was so weird. They were like so hot and cold between the players. Like QJ had his little stretch, Gadsden has a little stretch, but then they were kind of, I don't know, just not great down the stretch. I guess that was, that's where you could maybe argue like the injuries or just kind of the team falling apart. Um, I have an 8 rookie sub 2K projection team. The team is good too. Projections are all that matters. Yeah, no, I have some disgustingly low projected teams. Uh I think I've broken sub 2K before because I had some with like, you got Mendoza, you got Sadiq, so it's like you got those positions, and then you just got like 4 rookie running backs or something. Like give me Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, and this was before the combine, so Emmett Johnson. It's like, yeah, I definitely got some in that range too. Godwin's my highest on through 100, 37%. It's too high, but he was so mispriced. Um, I mean, I would take 37% Godwin right now at the old price. I would I'd do it probably, yeah. I mean, yeah, around 130 cuz like he was like 120, 130. I probably would. Like you can say maybe it's a little high, but if that's the guy you like the most in that range, I don't know. I don't really think there's much of a point in limiting exposures unless you just want to be safer with your portfolio, right? Like if you want to mitigate risk in some sense, then I get it. But I don't know, if you feel really strong on that, like that late, you're not taking a ton of risk of like blowing up your team taking them there, right? I guess it's more just if like someone in his same range is the super smash and it's not him, that's the only real risk you're taking. But it kind of depends who's going in that range. Like if that was the range with like, tier 3 QBs, if that's like, eh, I guess if that was where like Sammy Slings and Cam Ward and Danny Dimes are going, then I don't know, like how much were you like giving up if one of those is like the best player in that range, right? But it all depends. I mean, it's all personal preference with the exposure, right? Because even 100% is not wrong. It's just like the highest risk. Uh, I felt same way as Cup. Yeah, yeah. I really didn't think they would re-sign Shaheed, especially with as much money as he got. But I think I think Cup is still it's fine because you got him like basically free anyway. But yeah, it's definitely not ideal. I'm not clicking him anymore. Um, but yeah, I really didn't think they were gonna get back Shaheed and especially let go of Walker, get Shaheed back, end up with Emmanuel Wilson and George Halani RB1 duo. I was not expecting them to go that way in the offseason at all. David Omega, my guy, we might be sharing some coin dog. Hell yeah. Branch is a day 2 speed demon. There's some good value at rookie wide receiver late. Yeah, no, I mean, well, like you saw, I was overweight on Zachariah Branch. I've just like all the stuff not read, all the stuff I've been seeing about him lately is people are saying like it's gonna be hard for him to get on the field and everything. And I don't know. It's tough for me. It seems like he's the faller, but it's tough. I'm also already overweight on him, so I think that's what makes it a little bit harder to click him. I can take Bryce Lance. I have 9% of Bryce Lance. a guy most people probably haven't drafted. I mean, probably everyone here maybe has or at least has heard of him, but yeah, that's way too much. Um, who should I pick? Who's a good last round pick here? Probably a receiver. I go Chris Bell. Chris Bell torn ACL, but same thing. He's kind of like the same thing as my other guy, Chris Brazzell. He's tall, fast. Dontavian Wicks, Isaiah Bond, like him. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I was in on Branch. I don't know. It's hard for me with some of the rookies because like I try to watch a lot of like I try to watch like prospect profile type videos, I guess, is like my main type of research on rookies. And then I do watch like, I get film, but like highlights really. But like I try to watch that kind of stuff. Probably go Chris Bell here. But like I do try to watch that kind of stuff for like the rookie profiles. But then also obviously I watch a lot of just streams and stuff, and I don't know, he just seems like a faller. Like people are really worried, I guess, with him about him fitting into the right scheme for him to actually get utilized, right? Like he could be kind of gadgety for some teams. And like I don't know, it does kind of concern me. And I'm also already overweight. I guess that's kind of thing. If I was underweight, I'd just pick more. But I'm already overweight, so that's what kind of has me a little on the fence about him. And like with rookies, I'm not like a huge NCAA guy to be honest. So I try to do as much research as I can just from like mainly like the prospect profile people because I feel like they give you the best like overview of a guy instead of like the fantasy lens. But then also, just streams and stuff, other people's opinions. And yeah, I don't know. He seems like I was falling a little, and his combine was pretty good though. Uh I'm already overweight though. I'll probably pick him a little bit more, but yeah, with the rookies late, I'm kind of just mixing it up to be honest. Tampa Bay RB room is a big question mark. I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I've been buying Bucky in the fourth round to be honest. I really don't think Kenneth. Man, see, this is the thing. Like maybe I'm just being a hater, and Kenneth Gainwell. It just seems so hard to imagine Kenneth Gainwell taking Bucky off the field more than like Rashad White did. And I feel like Bucky was injured last year and he just, wasn't at his normal efficiency, but he's one of the most efficient runners in the entire NFL when he's healthy. And I just feel like he's the clear lead back there. And I don't know. I feel pretty good with Bucky in the fourth round. Kenneth Gainwell, I don't mind either. Like I was saying, I like the Bucks offense in general. But yeah, I really think Bucky's fine at his price. Um and then I think the question though is I guess Sean Tucker is kind of the big question mark where how does he fit in, right? Because they did bring him back. They paid him, a decent amount of money, but is that to be like just the third string, kind of what he was, not getting much snaps unless someone's hurt, or does he gonna have more of a role now? Um, I think that's kind of the missing piece of the equation where like is Kenny Gainwell a good pick or not? I think Bucky's a good pick, but if Tucker is getting a decent amount and Gainwell's getting, his share, maybe Bucky is a little bit overvalued still. Um, but I personally feel like Bucky's good. Gainwell's probably okay, maybe a little shaky, but just to him and Tucker, even though Gainwell did get a pretty good bag. Um, but and then Tucker, I don't feel like is super draftable right now. I feel like we need some camp stuff on him at least or something, some kind of coach talk. Uh, with that ADP, my Godwin percent might be going down a little. Yeah, no, I mean, I would recommend that if you're, I guess it depends how much volume you're doing because you said you had like, I think 47 drafts. So if you're doing like a lot more, then maybe you do keep up a little bit. But if you're only getting to like, I don't know, 100 or less, like you don't even really need to pick them again if you don't want to. If you don't think it fits like really good, then I would just, I would be okay with passing on him. But if you think he's a good pick there, you don't have to. But yeah, you have plenty of exposure unless you're going like a lot over 100, like if you're going close to maxing or something like that. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Uh, Bourne slash Austin the third. Bourne, Bourne, I think could be an okay click. Where is Calvin Austin a giant? Is that right? Yeah, he's a giant. And then Bourne's a cardinal. I didn't actually know that. Calvin Austin not super in on because I think I'd be more in on Mooney, maybe Slayton. I think Slayton and Calvin Austin's kind of debatable, but I think that's what makes it hard for me to click Austin. With Neighbors and Mooney. And I'm leaning Mooney the most out of the second Giants receiver. So a little bit lower on Calvin Austin. Kendrick Bourne, I just don't feel like there's much room in Arizona with MHJ and Michael Wilson. I mean, maybe some spike weeks, I guess. Like, I think him I'd be a little bit more open to. I'm not a huge fan of Arizona's offense, so I think that's maybe why I'd be, kind of on the fence. But I'd be more open to that one. I can kind of see that. I think on the Giants, it's gonna be hard for Calvin Austin to get on the field enough. Um, but Orn, I don't mind the idea. Arizona's a little bit tough to get on the field though too. Bucky in the fourth ain't bad. Yeah, I agree. I think in the fourth he's good. Or he's, pretty good. After every team I draft with a greater 3K projection, I celebrate by showering in mud. Um, yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like whenever I see like a really good projected team, it's like I feel like it's not good. It just means that I spent too much at quarterback probably. I didn't draft any rookies. That's something like highest projected just means I went like double elite QB and then still tacked on a third or something like that. Tucker hardly know her. Got him. Uh Analyst said Bucky only had 3 carries inside the 5, I do believe. Well, this past year? I mean, but he was hurt like all year. He missed like the entire year, didn't he? I mean, my tripping or not the entire year, but like half the year. And he was playing hurt. We're gonna Oh wait, is that Sharon? Yeah, okay. Well, I just realized I just left Underdog. I just typed that right in. How many games? He played 10 games. Yeah, I guess this doesn't tell me goal line rushes, huh? Yeah, I do feel like he was pretty hindered by the injury because I think when we look at like yards per touch, juke rate, evaded tackles, like they're good or like breakaway runs. I guess a lot of that is that's a volume metric though. But I think when we look at his 2024 when he was healthy, I think that's just really where we see the difference, right? And like there you see he's only getting like 45% snap share, but it's just his efficiency was just through the roof. Explosive rating number 6, juke rate number 3, yards per touch number 5. Like I just feel like his efficiency was so much less last year. And let's actually look at like the first 4 weeks of the year before he got that injury. So he was 14 and a half, 18, 13.9, 25.5. I don't know. I just feel like you're getting just like really safe production with Bucky. And I do like the goal line carries or within the 5 carries. I don't know. I think part of that could just be the injury, but he is a smaller back, right? Maybe he's not as good of a goal line, but he can break tackles and he can be a breakaway runner even though he's not that fast. Uh but that is interesting. And Kenneth Gainwell's not the biggest either, but he was pretty good on the goal line, I believe. And Tucker's good on the goal line. Oh. Ah. All right, give me a second. Let me go back on Underdog. And then I'll check out. I don't know if Losimo's still in here, but I'll check out his team. All right, share this tab instead. Um, big board, big board. All right, but Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel pretty good about Bucky. That is an interesting stat. The only 3 carries inside the 5. Um, I yeah, I don't know. I guess he's more like it's just his efficiency though. Like he's just so good at breaking tackles. I just I don't know. He's so efficient on his touches, and I guess that's the thing. He was so good in 2024 while already being in like the worst part of a committee. And I feel like the Bucks bounce more back to the 2024 form, and he'll be the clear leader now, right? Where he had to kind of work into that in 2024. I don't know. I really feel like his points per game will still be up there, but I don't know. That's something interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to look into like Bucky more, and then maybe more of that kind of stuff, like red zone. How good was Kenneth Gainwell? How good was Sean Tucker? Maybe that's something I do gotta look into more. But that's a good shout, Fancy Dog. Um, Good call. I forgot about Mooney. Yeah, no, I mean Calvin Austin could still hit some spikes though, right? Just saying, I love Bucky the player. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. But I mean, if they don't use him in the high value areas, right? Haven't clicked Bucky once. I was pretty low until he started falling in the fourth, and then I hopped on the Bucky train. I wasn't a big fan of Bucky last year at all. My name for him, Cucky Irving, because he was getting cucked by Rashad White in the receiving game. But I don't know. I feel like in the fourth, just with how much running backs have moved up to, that's the other big thing. I mean, you look at just like what number RB was Bucky in this? He was RB number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. He's RB 18. So he's a mid range RB2 being drafted as, right? RB 18 overall. I just feel like that's good. That's a good price. I think that RB 18 overall, I feel pretty good about Bucky beating that. Or at least like giving me production in that range, right? I don't see him falling much below that unless the Buccaneers have a really bad year, I guess. But I feel pretty good about the Buccaneers bounce back. So maybe that's part of why I'm pretty interested in Bucky even with just a smaller fall. But I think when you look at his RB number, it's like RB 18 is not too expensive for Bucky, I don't think. Um but I mean if you're out, I don't hate it. It's not like I'm the biggest Bucky Irving fan. I do think he's good, but the role is what makes him questionable, right? Me twice. Third round is a bunch of no-go RBs for me. Do like ETN though. Third round is a bunch of no-go RBs for me. I like Jacobs and ETN's fine. Brees Hall, if he's on the turn, I don't actually love it that much, but I think he gets enough volume where he's probably worth that pick, even if the Jets kind of suck. Like Brees Hall is not that bad. He just is. The Jets are just that bad. Like what did Brees Hall get last year? 190, 212, 252. And then what did Javante get last year? Because he goes not much after him. 225. Brees Hall got 190. I think the Jets will be a little bit better, but I don't love him. I don't mind him, I guess, on the turn or in the fourth. I don't see him much in the fourth ever, but closer to the turn, I guess he's fine. Um, I like Jacobs though. I'm actually not out on Jacobs. I like his role in the Packers offense. ETN too, I think is fine. Kind of depends where he goes. This early, I don't usually click him up here. I try to let him fall closer to the middle, but ETN I'm like just barely overweight on. Um, Kyron I don't like either. Uh, Chase Brown's kind of more of a second round pick. I think he's fine, I guess, but I'm pretty okay with the third round RBs. I think overall, Jacobs is my favorite. I think then ETN, or I'm sorry, Travis HN. I mean, uh, third round's a bunch of. Oh yeah. Wow, Hart, you be busy drafting, dude. Nah, I don't even draft that much. What do you mean? I have like 80 drafts. That's not even much. What up, Hartman? Checking in with you. Crush these drafts on stream, bro. Hey, what's up, Gab for Life? Thanks for stopping by, brother. And and if you don't know, check out Gab for Life channel. He does best ball streams too. Smash the like, fam. Hell yeah. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Uh yeah, we actually just finished up a draft. I'm gonna read off my team and then I'll read off Lolsimo's. So I went 3-6-8-3, Brock Purdy, Tyler Shuck, Daniel Jones, Pretty happy with that QB room. Danny Dimes, not a big fan of, but Purdy and Shuck up top should be okay. And then with Dimes, we got some stacks. That's kind of why we took them. RB, we got Gibbs, Trevion, Tony Pollard, Chris Rodriguez, James Conner, Nick Singleton. We reached up on Chris Rodriguez. I don't have much Pollard either, so went a little bit different there. Took some guys like get some exposure picks, but at least I feel like these guys will maybe have some carries every week, give me a floor. Maybe while I'm kind of a little bit riskier on Trevion early season, where he's not really giving me that floor, but maybe gives me the spikes. Maybe Rodriguez and James Conner help with the floor, and then Gibbs kind of carries my top spot. Wide receiver, we got Neighbors, Olave, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Josh Downs, Chris Brazzers, Tez Johnson, and Chris Bell. I feel really solid with the receiver room. I got Neighbors, Olave, Evans up top. DK feels solid, and he can give you spikes week to week, but he just gives me some solid production. Josh Downs, I'm hoping he kind of improves in that. I'm hoping he improves with Michael Pittman gone. His role improves, gets a little bit more work. Chris Brazzers, he's big, he's fast. He can give you spike weeks. Tej Johnson, he got mentioned in the chat, and also, we were kind of talking Tampa Bay. I really like them for a bounce back. I think a lot of people do, but Tampa Bay bounce back, and even if Tej Johnson is a more tertiary piece, who will be harder for him to get on the field, he can definitely give you some upside. Like in an injury or just maybe certain weeks, maybe he does work his way up, get a little bit more of a role. Chris Bell, he has a torn ACL, but he's big, he's fast. Same thing as Chris Bazzers, kind of maybe gives some spike weeks. Tyler Warren up top, I think borderline elite tight end, but I think he's my solid or tight end one. He's kind of carrying the flag of that position. Chig gives me some good upside on Washington, and then Pat Fryermuth, he gives me a little bit of floor, and then he could always get in the end zone, give you a little bit of upside weekly, and Pittsburgh. So I think I feel actually pretty good with this build overall. I think my RBs feel pretty shaky. A lot of that kind of hinges on Pollard and whether or not they get Jeremiah Love. Because if they don't, then I actually feel really, really good with my team overall. And then I think quarterback's my weakest. But if Pollard gets replaced, then I think my running backs are, a major like they could be okay if Trevion's really good, but they're really questionable if Pollard gets replaced. Receivers, I like Tyler Warren up top. I like at tight end. Quarterbacks are fine, not great, but I think that's okay. I really like Purdy. I like Shuck. Daniel Jones, I don't like, but I had some stacks. I don't have much of him either exposure wise. So we took a little bit there. And he's got some upside later, maybe when he's more recovered. Um, Fancy Dog, RB's at a premium this year so far. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, they're moved way up, right? Like you just look at the board. I mean, 6 RBs in the first round, 6 more in the second round. It's, half running backs in each round. And then this one has 2 tight ends, 5 more in the third round. Like right by the time you're at the end of round 3, 17 running backs have gone. You're fully into RB2 range. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely way moved up this year. I mean, this would have all been orange before, right? Olave, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, maybe like Tet would have made it up into the second round even. But yeah, you would have expected much more receivers up there if this was a year or two ago. Um, but I mean, that's something I think you got to adjust for. Like I wasn't really drafting the same way this year as I was last year. I mean, sometimes I am, I guess, but yeah, it's definitely a change in strategy. I'm going harder on ETN lately. Could be a good anchor RB. Yeah, no, I mean, I like ETN. I think I was just slightly over it at like 9%, but but yeah, I mean, I like ETN. Maybe I should pick a little bit more. Like maybe I should pick him over Jacobs. I think that's my big hurdle to him is I pick a lot of Jacobs in that range over ETN. Like where this guy picked, I would have picked Jacobs, right? So maybe that's something I should consider more is ETN over Jacobs. Um, but yeah, I definitely like him in this range though. I think he's fine. Like I think that's a perfectly reasonable pick for sure. Uh, but yeah, maybe that is something I should look at more because Jacobs has been a little disappointing in recent years. 80 to my 47. 80. Oh, drafts. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I guess I got a little bit more volume, but, I mean, that's low volume for me. That's low volume for me. But, we're getting back into the swing right with you, Candyman. Um, oh, yeah, and, speaking of that, I think Candyman is going live, like, right now or something? Candyman, when are you live? It's, like, really soon, right? Uh, but yeah, I think let me just look it up. Oh, shit, that's for a different day. My bad. My bad. Okay, never mind, never mind. I thought Candyman was going live tonight. Uh, not tonight, but tomorrow with Adam and Friday with Meg. Oh, okay, got you, got you. I saw the little like notification thing, and I thought you were going live tonight. My bad, my bad. Uh, all right. So I think we'll probably call it there. I got a few things to do tonight. I just wanted to hop on. I also know last time when I did my first stream back, my audio was coming straight from my camera, so that sounded horrible. So hopefully this is a little bit better. Uh, but yeah, but no, fun to. Oh, and I was gonna look at Lowell Smith's team. I'm gonna do that real quick. 2693, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold. I think that's fine. Sammy Slings that's good enough with Josh Allen up top. You can kind of get anyone in that range, and you're pretty much good with two QBs. You're just kind of flag planting Josh Allen QB1, right? Ken Walker, Quinshawn, J.K. Dobbins, Emmett Johnson, Braylon Allen, Devon Claiborne. Solid top two with Walker and Quinshawn. I really like Dobbins. Reach a little bit on him. I like him there. Uh, Emmett, Braylon, Demond, a little bit weaker there. You're getting three guaranteed point getters. I think it feels okay overall. Maybe could have went a little bit earlier than Emmett for like the fourth, but probably didn't need to, especially if you still like Emmett. You got a big fall on him. Braylon, so you got, good upside backup, and then Demond Claiborne, another rookie stab. I like the RBs overall. I really like the top three. I like all those guys at their price. JSN, Zay Flowers, Jordan Tyson, Jordan Addison, Romeo Dobbs, Stephon Diggs, Travis Hunter, Christian Kirk, Cooper Cup. I like that overall too, because I really like you got. I guess Jordan Tyson I was right at ADP, but I thought that was a fall. JSN, Zay Flowers, Jordan Tyson, Jordan Addison. Like I like Addison a lot of his price. I like Dobbs a lot of his price. Diggs will probably move up when he signs somewhere. But I think for going, a little bit less capital here, it looks pretty solid. You definitely built a lot of volume there. 9, right? Yeah. Yeah, 9 of them. Christian Kirk at the end, Cooper Cup at the end. Give you a little more floor. Travis Hunter for a bunch of upside. And then Fan and Kelsey and Joku. Pretty strong tight end room too. Yeah, I like this team a lot. I think it's built, yeah, really solid overall. I mean, not much I would change. I mean, third QB could give you more safety, but if you're just flag planting Josh Allen QB1, then I think you're feeling pretty good. Yeah, no, nice team. Um, all right, but yeah, I think I'm gonna call it for tonight. I just wanted to hop on and stuff for a quick one. I think off the Schneid, he's going live in about 10 minutes, so check him out. I think Toxic Tower actually I think is live too. I didn't realize they were going live tonight. Uh but yeah, but thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out. I'll be back probably later this week around the same time. But see ya.